Good morning, everyone. It is April the 29th, 2026. Today I'm going to put up a video on, I'm calling it Just for Kicks, and it's on extortion and the youth crime that's happening in Quebec right now. And it's very serious when you talk about extortion and fire bombs and just doing it for the hell of it, for recognition with the street gangs, whether they're getting paid or not for it. And I think it shows us the problem that we're having with our youth right now, getting caught up in these gangs very easily. I have extensive knowledge on that, what happened back in the 1990s. I'm going to do that another day with my own children going through high school, and this type of thing happening and the kind of recruiting that they did back then. And but today I'm just going to talk about today's video, and it's quite extensive, and the damage that's done to everyone involved and the property damage and that, and there's no consequences. And when we were young growing up, there was always consequences. If you were late for your curfew, for example, you could get grounded for a week and not be able to go anywhere, or lose your TV or lose privileges. And it doesn't seem to be happening to these kids today. And I think it's so terribly important that we need to look at our Youth Offenders Act, which is less than prison, because we felt back that then, of course, it wasn't that good. The youth going straight into jails, being treated as an adult. But we really need to look at our justice system and start thinking about doing something different at this point, because we're pumping into millions of dollars trying to correct this situation. But I want to tell you about some of the things that happened to me when I was young, and consequences of your actions, and that with the youth, and some of the things that we did in our youth for kicks, if you want to put it that way. And one of the big things was that a 16-year-old would get their driver's license, and speeding has always been a problem. This particular story I'm going to tell you is a real true story. It's about speeding. It's about a young teenager, 16, got his license, and he was picking up other younger children, and children his age, like 14 to 16, maybe 17 at max. And he had about himself and I think 3 other children, youth in the car with him that he picked up. Well, he was speeding. This was, we'd all got to school. We were all going to school. This was just prior to getting to school that this incident took place. And we were hearing about it by the time we got into school, because there was rumors and talk that there was been a terrible accident that happened, and three of our kids from our school were involved in it, and that they were dead and they weren't coming back. Like, there was all kinds of rumors going on. And sure enough, we were sitting there. We noticed that the names that were possibly given were, there was 2 in my classroom, that both desks that day were empty. They were not sitting there. And my girlfriend had another one in one of our other classes, and this was when I was in grade 8, and I would have been about 14, I guess, at the time. And so what ended up happening was the principal came over the PA system to announce that there had been a terrible, terrible accident. And then he told us what happened, that they'd been speeding, and we lost 3 of our 2 in my class. The 2 empty desks were definitely confirmed that they died in the speeding incident. And my girlfriend, the one in her class, where the chair and the desk were empty, that he had died. And we're just all looking at each other. And what I understood of the accident, of course, it was in the papers and everything else afterwards, that they were going down a street near the school where we were going to school at the time, and they were going down a straight stretch on the road, on the street, and at the end of the straight stretch there was a curve, and when the way they were going, they were curving, trying to go to the right, and the police estimated they were doing well over 100 miles an hour when they jumped the curb. They didn't make the turn, they jumped the curb, went up, tore up the front lawn of the house, towards the house. They were jumped up onto the steps of the house and then crashed right through the living room window. And fortunately, luckily, the people who were in the house at the time getting ready for breakfast, they were not in the front of the house because they were just finishing up their breakfast. They were in the kitchen in the back of the house when the car came through. A few minutes later, they would have been all at the front of the house, and they could have been killed or hurt as well. And so it could have been much worse, but 3 of them were killed in that accident. And, you know, the youth don't seem to understand that there are consequences to your actions. And that day it was a horrible consequence to their actions. So we really had the chance of thinking about, you know, what we were doing. And one youth came up at recess and says, I just miss going with them on the drive. I had just forgot my lunch at the house, and I ran back and I missed my drive with them. And then he's going, and I could have been killed too, you know. So it was a realization of all of us that this can happen so easily, and there are consequences to something that we do. But what a way to learn a lesson. And three teenagers died that day that shouldn't have died. And another one that I can give you an example of would be my second husband. His father was another thing that they used to do. And during the 60s, as well as the kids for Kicks, they used to bumper ride on the back of the cars. And in my father-in-law's case, he was bumper riding on the back of the streetcars at that time. And this was probably in the 1940s, back even that far back. And of course, it's the winter. He was bumper riding. And then the car behind the streetcar slid right into the streetcar in front of him. He's on the back. And he got crunched. He got his knees caught jammed between the bumper of the streetcar and the bumper of the car. And they didn't even know if he was going to be able to walk again. And he was lucky, he was, but it took a lot of effort for him. But when you looked at his knees, even when he was older, he had they were on, both his knees were they had like a cave-in part, like the knees were caved in. But he was walking. And so when my boys decided that they were going to try and joyride, it was a good thing I had Grandpa, because Grandpa was able to show them what happened to him. And they thought, I don't think we're going to try that one. And then it was just not only his knees, but we also had the paper clipping on him from the 1940s that showed the accident and what happened to him. So there's a lot of things that are happening with our children today. And unfortunately, they don't understand the circumstances and what they're doing and the consequences that could happen with things. So I've got a lot more I have to say on it, but I'm going to save that for another day. So I'm going to leave it here today. So take care, be safe, and watch your surroundings, everyone, and we'll talk again soon. And bye-bye.